Wonderful. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to this week's webinar, which we're really, really pleased to welcome Karen Redgate, one of our amazing scholars. And it looks like we've got some of your scholar group joining us today, which is wonderful to see. Just before we get started, just do some housekeeping. For those who are aware, we're recording today, so just be mindful of what you pop into the chat. And if you don't want to ask any questions or anything, that's absolutely fine. We will make the video available in a couple of days' time once it's been edited, so you can share it with your colleagues who aren't able to make it live to the session, and you can come back and read it if there's any references you wanted to make to as well. Really excited to welcome Karen. Karen's going to share quite a unique career journey, which I think will really inspire a lot of you and show that the world really is your oyster. Karen is a flight lieutenant in the RAF, but has had a really great career, which we're really pleased that Karen's taken the time to join us this morning to share. We're going to have quite a Q&A at the end of today, so if you've got any questions, you can either pop it in the chat box and I can ask on your behalf, or raise your virtual or actual hand and we can come across to one at a time as well. So I'm going to hand across to Karen. Thank you so much for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure, and look forward to hearing your presentation.
So, can everybody see my screen? Has that shared correctly?
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you.
That's great. Okay, so this webinar is about my career journey to a career change and doing my dream job, really. I'm Karen Redgate, and I changed career at 47 to join the Princess Mary's Royal Air Force Nursing Service, the PMRAF-NS, after working in the NHS for over 20 years. I've been a nurse for 20 years, but actually this doesn't define me or the journey that life's taken me on. However, it did give me choices, chances, and a change in career direction in my late 40s. And I realised that we must make a choice to take a chance, or life will never change. And in the end, we regret the chances that we actually didn't take. So, Never Say Never webinar explores the many changes in my life that led on a journey to a new career. So I stumbled into nursing really after being rejected by the police because I was an inch too short. I qualified as an RGN in 1994 in Nottingham, and this is my group on the front row, right near the front, third in, I think. And I started on neurosurgery, worked in a variety of clinical settings, community, primary healthcare, hospice, ward management, and pre-assessment before actually joining the PMs. So why did I join the PMs and what led me here? So I gave birth to my daughter Emma in 2001, and life drastically changed from there, really. I don't want to bore you with the ins and outs, but you'll see how it destroyed and encouraged me to where I am, really. Because Emma was born with esophageal atresia and a TOF, and had to have surgery at 9 hours old. So this was a real shock, had no diagnosis of this. And she also had complete situs inversus, where all her organs and her heart were completely the wrong way round. And then another blow was that she was diagnosed with biliary atresia. So everything was a disaster, really. The birth was mismanaged. She became an emergency forceps, nearly a section. She was a misdiagnosed TOF, missed bloods in neonatal, missed liver disease signs, then missed liver disease signs by the midwife. And after 2 weeks in neonatal, followed by 2 weeks of hell at home, no sleep, constant screaming, vomiting, trying to feed her via a nasogastric tube, which as a baby, they often just use that little finger to whip it out all the time. And yes, I'm a nurse, but I'm not a paediatric nurse. So what the hell did I know, really? Finally, a health visitor spotted the signs, and we spent a week in the local hospital before being transferred to St James's, Leeds, where the journey then continued and actually still does. After one major Kasai, Ems needed a transplant. So I therefore had to make a huge decision to leave my job as a G-grade practice nurse. And I realised that trying to return to work would really be impossible with a critically ill child, even following a transplant. Em received her transplant at 9 months old, October 21, due to her sudden deterioration in health. She made an amazing recovery, blue eyes, smiling, and slept better straight away. Children are so resilient, it's amazing. But sadly, Em's had to have another transplant in 2004, age 3. During this time, I did a lot of charity work and events, and it just gave me a focus and something to distract myself from the possibility, really, that Emma could die or be ill again at any time. So from a few half marathons, I started triathlon, sprint, then an Olympic, and then a middle distance. And more complications ensued, and trauma continued, needle phobia, repeated errors, and from poor cannulation, etc. And after 7 years out of nursing and doing other jobs to earn some money, I decided I needed to return to nursing or I'd never go back. So after my experience as a service user, I wanted to be a better nurse and I wanted to make a difference. Family were really negative. Didn't want me to return because of the infection risk for Emma, etc. But I completed the return to nursing diploma and started back as a staff nurse, ever hungry to make a difference, in 2009. I had to start back at the bottom because I wasn't given any gratuities to start from bottom of band 5. But I worked under a fantastic ward sister and deputy who were amazing and inspiring and really boosted me back up and gave me that belief in nursing again. The ward manager sadly developed alopecia from stress and bullying. And to see somebody so amazing be destroyed, it was very, very sad. I worked my way back up to a band 6, admissions and discharge facilitator to a ward manager. But the sharks were out there. And I know some of you will know exactly what I mean. I had a fantastic ward team, 45 staff, and the same ward manager, sister, moved across to work on my ward as a nurse practitioner. And she was just fantastic. But I just couldn't suffer some of the senior managers, I'm afraid. They were bullies and just toxic. So I was giving it all, and my family said that it would kill me if I continued to work the way I was. So I applied for an IPC band 8 job. Went for a visit, had a long chat, was told to apply. But once they realised I hadn't got a degree, I was told I wasn't eligible for the job. So with nearly 20 years experience, I was devastated. I felt worthless and my morale was really low. I felt like I was pushing a boulder uphill, and I left work to work in the private sector, setting up a preoperative assessment unit in a brand new hospital. Great, I thought, 8 till 4, Monday to Friday, perfect. What could go wrong? So I decided now was the time to enter a 9-distance triathlon. And again, I was met with, you can't do that, you'll kill yourself. From some of my friends saying, yeah, go for it, I know you can do it. But sadly, again, I was met with bullying. But the job gave me the time to train hard for the biggest physical and mental challenge of my life. I never actually believed I could do it, but I kept training, and my only concern was my knee because I was having difficulty with my left leg. So I slogged on with the training, swimming in the morning, biking before work, biking after, running, etc. And 6 months really of no life. And in July 2017, I smashed it and I became an outlaw Ironman in Nottingham. And it wasn't pretty. It really wasn't. It wasn't easy, but I finished. And my screen's stuck. I can't get down to the next slide.
Okay. There you go. You got it.
So after one day, my manager behind a closed door was so abusive that I was physically shaking with shock and emotion when I walked out, and I went sick. Even the porter followed me into the female changing rooms because he knew I was always smiling and full of fun. so I must have looked awful. I started a grievance and was all set to leave nursing when my triathletes, my triathlete coach, his wife suggested the RAF. And here it started, less than 12 hours later, an application of interest. And as they say, the rest is history. So I didn't get something I really wanted. And I was absolutely gutted. But now I realise that sometimes what you think you want isn't always right for you. Life isn't a straight line. And although all the right and left and roundabout turns that you take up a little bit more energy, they eventually will get you in the right road and the right destination, but just a little bit stronger from that extra work to get there. It was a long process, multiple interviews and selection process, physical tests, logical tests, team tests, before I was informed I'd been accepted. We started on a Sunday afternoon in January 2019, taking our attestation to the Queen. And for the next 3 months, I was a cadet at RAF Cranwell. So we had berry faff, parade, bivvying, exercise, which anybody that knows me knows I don't even camp. Weapons handling, CS gas with a respirator exercise, which scared me. I was terrified. And I used to say I needed my big pants for when I was completing triathlon, but I really needed them now, I can tell you. And I graduated in May 2019, and I was awarded the PT Cup for the best cadet for PT. And then I headed to RAF Benson at Oxford, which was my first posting with the PMs. Working on a base was exciting, but daunting. Working within the NHS and the military and NHS nurses was great, and we had a great team. And then COVID surfaced, and I was sent to main building for 4 months. Not sure if I've gone out of sync. There we go. But there have been so many amazing, heart-stopping experiences. Representing the RAF ladies tennis team at Wimbledon, collecting a patient from the Falklands, team triathlon, paddle boarding, conferences, just representing the RAF in general. It's just been amazing. Playing tennis at Wimbledon and the NATO Aircom champs in Poland recently were just an amazing, amazing experience. So great leaders don't set out to be a leader, they set out to make a difference. It's never about the role, always about the goal. This resonates with me. It's about what we do, how we do it, and why we do it, and not about our title or our rank. My second posting was to research and implementation within tri-service environment, so Army, Navy and RAF, which has developed me further and given me exposure and experience that other roles don't offer. Being awarded the Florence Nightingale Emerging Leaders Scholarship is life-changing. There are endless possibilities, connections with the scholarship, it's mind-blowing. My current role helped me make advances with my network and teams and has really got me to where I am and sitting here doing this and being part of the Florence Nightingale Scholarship, because my boss really pushed me to apply. And it's introduced me to more and more people. And now the FNF, my mentor in the PMs, she is one of the most inspiring leaders. She's courageous, a fantastic role model, and is a passionate leader. And I'm sorry, but this person made me believe in myself again. And their inspiration has really pushed me forward and made me able to do a lot of things that I'd actually lost the confidence in myself. And I feel really proud to know her as a friend. So remember, choices, chances, and change. You must make a choice to take a chance, otherwise things will never change. Not everyone's going to understand your journey. And when you're older, you can share your wisdom, but you can also learn a lot from people you're surrounded by every day. Not everyone is going to believe in what you believe in, but you're on your own path, so never change who you are. Do what makes you happy, because at the end of the day, we only get one life, so you have to live it to the fullest. Every day is a chance to be better. And my goal is not to be better than anybody else, but just to be better than I used to be. I've always told my daughter, quitters never win and winners never quit. People say fail, but the truth is we never fail if it doesn't work. We just learn from the experience to take us to the next challenge. And this is Ems now, my daughter. She's 21. She's gone to university. It's not been an easy journey. There have been other hurdles as well, but she took part in the Rickshaw Challenge. And that was a life-changing event for her. And it was amazing. And she went to Strictly Come Dancing as part of that and had to do a piece to camera about herself. And it was amazing. But on the right, that was her first day at Edgehill University to train as a primary school teacher. So thinking about giving up, never give up. We all have choices, chances, and changes. And all I'd say to you is just keep going. And now I'll leave you with that last slide. Thank you very much.
Karen, thank you so very much. Thank you. Such a heartfelt personal account that you shared with us. So thank you. So we've got time for some questions or any comments from the audience. Lots of claps I can see coming in. I don't know if you wanted to unshare your screen, Karen, so we can see everybody. And
there we go, I've done it now. Yeah, otherwise
we've got beautifully said, Karen, some of your fellow scholars, and thank you for sharing your journey. I think it certainly resonated with me on lots of levels there. I might start with one question actually, and I guess my comment initially is, I'm a children's nurse by background, and I've worked with the most incredible families, and you emulate exactly those qualities I've seen in those parents that just keep going and striving for the best. And individuals like you was the reason why I got up every day and went to work. So I guess from me, thank you for keeping going, because you inspired me every day and continued me on my career journey too. So thank you. I guess what I felt as you were talking was a real strength. And what do you attribute that strength to? You talked about your mentor, but are there three main areas you could inspire us even further? What have you focused on? What's been your strength?
I think for me, it was a very lonely journey to begin with. Family stepped away and friends who didn't know what to do. And I think having something to focus on, like doing work for charity, I felt like I was giving back as well as taking at the same time. So it gave me something really to focus on. But then a few key people who have been my absolute rocks through things. I think, when you go through something, you can often count on one hand who sticks by you, or who just, becomes that person that just inspires you to keep going, or just says the right thing. And without those people, you just can't keep going. And I know I wouldn't be where I am without those people. I'd have just given up a long time ago, because I remember standing in the kitchen saying, I can't do this anymore. I've just had enough. I think the poor ambulances that came to our house probably knew their way on their own. And just one time I just said, I just can't do it. And somebody said, you haven't got a choice, you've got to keep going. Really?
You did, and you have. And you've gone on to incredible, great things. Goodness me, triathlete, played at Wimbledon, you know, let alone your nursing career. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. I'm totally inspired, so thank you. There's some comments in the chat box, which I'll share with you. Thank you, Karen, you're amazing, an amazing story. You give everyone strength to keep going. Okay, I totally echo that. I think you said you wouldn't have kept going without people around you. I bet they would say exactly the same about you. Exactly the same about you. So inspiring, and it's so nice to see your daughter achieving as well. I want to go across the audience, and if anyone's got any questions or comments for Karen. Lovely to see everything coming in, being brave enough to share. I think you've inspired an awful lot of people today.
I've got a comment. I don't know if can you hear me?
Abigail, yeah, we can't see you unfortunately. Abigail, if you turn your camera. Don't worry if you can't, but it'd be lovely to see you if we can.
Sorry, I'm on my mobile. I'm in sort of on my way to another meeting, but I've been listening as I've been going. Karen, fantastic, really inspired me also, actually. So we've always got something to impart, and just want to commend you for your courage in sharing such raw detail of your personal experience. It really, really, truly is inspirational. What I'd like to ask you, though, is you mentioned about the toxic leadership that you faced going, forward throughout your career, different phases of your career. How do we overcome that? And is this still something that you feel is still within the organisations that you work in terms of NHS, or even in the military environment that you work? How do we overcome that and escalate that to make a difference?
I think it is still out there. I think I was very unfortunate to meet some people that were very self-obsessed and would, as I always said, stand on their granny to get where they wanted to go. But I think you've got to stand up against these people, because I actually won my, the word's gone out of my head now, when you take out what did I say I did? Against the bully, I actually took out I said it in my thing.
Grievance.
Thank you, the word's just gone, poof. And I won. It was the worst thing I've ever had to do, but I just thought, actually, I'm not going to let you get away with this. And I won, and the fact that I won just made me feel so much better. And it's not about the winning, but it was just to make a point, because when I asked the RCN when I was a ward manager, they said, no, I wouldn't do that, because it's you rarely win, and it's such a lot of stress. I wouldn't do it. And I thought, but I pay into you, I'm coming to you for advice. And so if that's the general consensus, then nobody's ever going to challenge these people. But I have to say, I've been truly blessed in the RAF. All of my managers have inspired me and make me the person I am today. That my mentors are my managers, and you're one of those as well. You just inspire me, and the way you lead has made me think, yeah, I want to be a leader like you and emulate what you've taught me.
Thanks, Karen. I think there's two really key messages there, aren't there? Is actually stand up. Make sure that if you do raise a grievance, you can make sure this doesn't happen to others. And actually that takes such bravery and courage, as Abigail said. I think that's a real key message for everybody here today, and who's listening back on the recording. And if you see something, you shouldn't, you accept things that you walk past, and actually if you stand up and do the right thing, others will follow on their role model. So that's incredible. And secondly, inspirational leadership, isn't it? I think, yeah, I've certainly been inspired by incredible leaders through the years, and it keeps you going, doesn't it? It keeps you going.
Certainly does.
Yeah. I think there's a comment here from Lizzie. Makes you a more inspiring leader, and you'll be so admired by your team for standing strong to challenge toxic behaviour. Absolutely, Lizzie. Absolutely. We've got Kay Robinson. That's a very sad response you received, as this just enables people to continue bad behaviours. If you're sticking at it, absolutely, and you've inspired everybody here today. You must challenge. If you see, we're registered professionals, we should be challenging poor behaviour in the workplace. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if anyone wants, we'll share some information on the email we send at the back of this, of how to speak up and how to contact the unions, etc., if you need help and support this, such as any areas that you're concerned about too. Okay, any other questions or comments from the rest of the team? Thanks for joining us today. It's lovely to see all the comments in the chat box, Karen, and there's no further questions.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's very humbling just reading all the comments. Very humbling.
It takes great courage to share such a personal and intimate journey. So thank you so much for sharing with us today. And I'm sure a lot of people take a lot away from this. Judging by the comments, obviously they will too. But please do share with your colleagues. We'll share some resources that you need if people do need to challenge any toxic behaviour they see in the workforce to make sure you're getting the right support and advice. And I'm pleased to come back to us with any questions or queries. Karen, a huge thank you. And we're really proud to include you in our scholars. It's been great to work with you and see you grow and develop even further than you already have. And I'm sure you inspire so many people day in, day out, and your colleagues at the RAF as well. And great to see so many of them on the call as well. Well, thank you all. Thank you all so much for joining us. A bit of a shorter one today, but a bit more hard hitting and a personal journey. So thanks, Karen. And take care. Have a really great day, the rest of you. Thank you.